Listen, somewhere in Las Vegas right now, a chef is plating their last dish, a server is folding their final napkin, creasing it perfect, the way they've done 10,000 times before. A dishwasher is scrubbing a pot they'll never touch again. This year, Las Vegas lost more legendary restaurants than any year in recent memory. Some of them lasted 30 years, some lasted 2. One cost $30 million to build and didn't even make it to its 3rd birthday. I'm going to walk you through the 10 most devastating restaurant closures to hit Vegas this year, and I need to warn you, this list gets uglier as we go. We're starting with a landlord forcing a 20-year tenant onto the street, and we're ending with a closure that made grown chefs cry. Number 10, Carlos and Charlie's. If you've ever stumbled down the Flamingo Casino floor after one too many frozen margaritas, you've probably seen this place. Bright colors, loud music, servers dancing on the bar. For over 20 years, Carlos and Charlie's was the place where tourists went to let loose, where bachelorette parties got out of hand, where one more drink turned into what happened last night. It was silly, it was loud, it was fun, and in November 2025, it's gone. 79 employees. That's how many people showed up to work and found out they were losing their jobs. Now here's where it gets ugly. In the legal filing, the official paperwork submitted to the state of Nevada, the restaurant's HR manager wrote the reason for closure, and I quote, "Our landlord unilaterally forcing an early termination clause in our lease." The landlord, Caesars Entertainment, one of the biggest casino companies on earth, looked at a restaurant that had been paying rent for 2 decades and said, "We need the space." Now, if you're a union worker at Carlos and Charlie's, Culinary Workers Local 226, or Bartenders Union Local 165, you get absorbed into other Caesars properties. But if you're not union, the filing says you have no bumping rights. That's corporate speak for, you're on your own. 79 people, cooks who memorized the salsa recipe, bartenders who knew the regulars by name, servers who could carry 6 plates at once without breaking a sweat, gone because a landlord decided they weren't worth keeping. In a city built on hospitality, the hosts are getting shown the door. But here's the thing, Carlos and Charlie's at least had a 20-year run. The next closure on our list. It's not just a restaurant dying, it's the death of something that defined Las Vegas. Number 9, the buffet at Luxor. Picture this. You walk down the escalator deep into the base of the pyramid. The walls are covered in hieroglyphics. Statues of Anubis stare down at you. The air smells like bacon and cinnamon rolls and industrial carpet cleaner. It's cheesy, it's gaudy, it's perfect. For over 30 years, this buffet did one thing really well. It fed people who didn't want to spend a fortune. $32 for adults, $27 for locals. All you can eat in a city where a steak can cost you $300. That mattered. On March 30th, 2025, they turned off the heat lamps for good. And here's the number that should make you angry. In the year 2020, there were over 70 casino buffets in Las Vegas. 70 places where you could walk in, pay one price, and eat until you couldn't move. Today, 8 buffets left on the entire Las Vegas Strip, and here's why. Before the pandemic, Caesars Entertainment, the company that runs Caesars Palace, Paris, Bally's, the Flamingo, they did the math. Their buffets were losing an average of $3 million a year, each, individually. So when COVID hit and they had an excuse to shut everything down, they never brought them back. Think about what that means. In 1994, the average dinner buffet in Vegas cost $7.25. At Circus Circus, you could eat breakfast for $2.29. That wasn't charity, that was the deal. The casino said, "Come here, we'll feed you cheap. Stay a while, and maybe you'll drop a few bucks at the tables." The buffet was the promise. We'll take care of you. Now, the Luxor buffet space sits empty. MGM hasn't announced what's replacing it. The cheap buffet wasn't just food. It was Vegas telling you, you belong here. Now the house isn't even pretending anymore. But losing a buffet, even an iconic one, that's economics, supply and demand. The numbers didn't work. The next closure on our list, $30 million. That's how much they spent building a restaurant that couldn't survive 2 years. And it's sitting empty right now. Number 8, Catedral. You walk through the casino floor at Aria, past the slot machines, past the high-limit tables, and you see blue curtains. That's it. Just fabric, no windows, no view inside, nothing telling you what's behind that wall. But if you pushed through, you'd find yourself in a cathedral, 30-foot ceilings, a ceiling installation called the Oculus, designed by an Italian artist made of wire mesh, hovering above you like a storm cloud made of metal, blue leather banquettes, candles flickering everywhere, art lining the walls. The Tao Group, one of the biggest nightlife and restaurant companies on the planet, built this place. They spent $30 million, $30 million on the design, on the art, on that ceiling sculpture, on a kitchen serving coastal Mediterranean food from Spain, France, Italy, and Greece. It opened May 1st, 2023. It closed May 31st, 2025. 2 years, 24 months. That's 730 days to make $30 million work. They couldn't do it, and here's the part that stings. When the Vegas gossip blog Vital Vegas reported on the closure, they wrote, and I quote, "We have never met anyone who has dined at Catedral. $30 million. Met 266-seat restaurant in the middle of one of the busiest casino floors in Las Vegas, and nobody could find it." See, the co-CEO of Tao Group had a theory. He believed restaurants should be enclosed, hidden, no windows, no visibility from the outside. He wanted to control the environment. Here's the thing about Vegas. If people can't see that you're busy, they assume you're not. $30 million, gone in 2 years. But at least Catedral was new, a startup, a gamble that didn't pay off. The next closure? A celebrity empire that once hosted the Beatles, and it couldn't survive a decade in Vegas. Number 7, Mr. Chow. Let me take you back to 1968, London, the swinging 60s, miniskirts and the British invasion. A Chinese artist named Michael Chow opens a restaurant in Knightsbridge. He hires Italian waiters, doesn't give anyone chopsticks. It's weird. It's bold, it's different, and the Beatles start showing up. Then Frank Sinatra, Federico Fellini, Andy Warhol became a regular at the New York location, Jack Nicholson, Angelica Houston, Clint Eastwood, Lady Gaga. For 50 years, Mr. Chow was the place where celebrities ate Chinese food. In 2015, they opened in Vegas, Caesar's Palace, second floor of the Forum Tower. The centerpiece? A 3,800-pound kinetic sculpture called the Moon, 26 feet across, designed by Michael Chow himself. Every 40 minutes it would move, shift, transform. The lights in the room would change to soft blue. You were dining under a mechanical moon. The signature dish? A filet mignon wrapped in 24-karat gold leaf. $1,000 for a steak. Britney Spears ate here. Jennifer Lopez, Steve Martin and Martin Short, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Last service, May 17th, 2025. 10 years, done. And here's the brutal truth. The restaurant was hidden on the second floor. You had to take a private elevator from the casino. Most people walking through Caesar's Palace had no idea it existed. A restaurant where the Beatles once ate, a $1,000 gold-wrapped steak, a literal moon sculpture hanging from the ceiling. And in Vegas, nobody could find it. 10 years is a decent run. Most restaurants don't make it past 3. But the next chef on our list, he had something even rarer than a celebrity clientele. He had 21 Michelin stars and a view from the 64th floor. Number 6, Rivea, 64th floor. You step off the elevator and the entire Las Vegas Strip is spread out beneath you. The fountains at Bellagio, the Eiffel Tower at Paris, the Luxor Pyramid shooting its beam into the sky. From up here, Vegas looks like a circuit board made of light. The restaurant itself, soft, elegant, a glass bubble chandelier that looks like frozen champagne, cream-colored walls, natural light pouring in during sunset. It felt like dining on the French Riviera, if the French Riviera floated half a mile above the desert. The chef, Alain Ducasse. If you don't know that name, you should. 21 Michelin stars across his career. The first chef in history to hold 3 Michelin stars in 3 different cities at the same time. He's cooked for presidents, for royalty. He was named one of the 100 most powerful people in global hospitality. At Rivea, he served food inspired by the coastlines of France and Italy. Handmade pasta with ox cheek, marinated sea bass with citrus, summer corn, and ricotta ravioli. Simple ingredients, perfect technique. The restaurant opened in 2015. Well, actually, actually. The space opened in 2004 as Mix, then became Revea in 2015 when the hotel rebranded from The Hotel to Delano. Then MGM rebranded again. Delano became the W Las Vegas, and somewhere in that shuffle, Revea got cut. Last service, June 22nd, 2025. The kicker, the Skyfall Lounge, the bar right next to Revea, stays open. You can still go up to the 64th floor, still see that view, still watch the strip sparkle beneath you. You just can't eat Alain Ducasse's food while you do it. 21 Michelin stars, a view that makes people gasp, and Vegas said, "Thanks, but we need the space for something else." At least Revea is being replaced. Something new will go in that room. But what happens when a celebrity couple bets everything on Vegas and loses? Number 5. International smoke. Okay, pop quiz. What do you get when you combine one of the most celebrated chefs in America with the wife of a 3-time NBA champion? Michael Mina. James Beard Award winner. Runs restaurants from San Francisco to Dubai. The guy who put seafood on the map in Vegas with his restaurant at Bellagio. And Aisha Curry, cookbook author, TV personality, married to Steph Curry, arguably the greatest shooter in basketball history. Together they built International Smoke. The concept was simple, brilliant actually. Barbecue from around the world, not just Texas brisket and Carolina pulled pork, Korean gochujang ribs glazed with fermented chili paste, peri-peri chicken from Portugal, whole fish roasted over open flame. The kitchen smelled like hickory and mesquite and charcoal, smoke curling up from wood-fired grills, the crackle of fat hitting hot metal. They'd already proven it worked in San Francisco. Packed house every night. Critics loved it. Vegas was supposed to be the victory lap. They opened at MGM Grand in 2019. Prime real estate. One of the biggest casino floors on the Strip. Millions of people walking past every year. Closed January 19th, 2025. 6 years. No scandal. No health violations. No public drama. MGM just moved on. Think about that for a second. A 3-time NBA champion's wife, a chef with restaurants on 3 continents, a concept that was already working in one of the toughest food cities in America. And Vegas said, not enough. When a Golden State Warrior can't win in Vegas, you start to wonder who can. But here's the thing about International Smoke. Michael Mina still has other restaurants. Aisha Curry has her shows, her cookbooks, her brand. They'll be fine. The next chef on our list, he's not fine. He's not opening somewhere else. He's leaving Vegas completely after 26 years and taking a piece of the city's soul with him. Number 4, Julian Serrano Tapas. For 15 years, this place was a constant. You'd walk into Aria, past the modern art, past the designer shops, and tucked into a corner, you'd find Spain. Earthenware plates stacked behind the bar. The sizzle of chorizo in a hot pan. Servers carrying cast iron skillets of paella, saffron rice, prawns, mussels, the crust on the bottom crackling as they set it down. The ceviche was bright with lime. The lamb chops came off the grill with perfect char. The wine list read like a tour of Rioja and Ribera del Duero. It won Wine Spectator's Award of Excellence. Esquire named it one of the best new restaurants in America when it opened. But here's what you need to understand. Julian Serrano Tapas wasn't just a restaurant. It was the last restaurant. Julian Serrano came to Vegas in 1998. He was already a legend. 2-time James Beard Award winner, best chef in California, best chef in the Southwest. When Steve Wynn opened Bellagio, the casino that changed everything, he recruited Serrano to open Picasso. That restaurant put Vegas on the culinary map. Before Picasso, Vegas was steakhouses and shrimp cocktails. After Picasso, every casino needed a celebrity chef. Wolfgang Puck, Emeril Lagasse, Gordon Ramsay, Thomas Keller, Jose Andres. They all came to Vegas because Julian Serrano proved it could work. For 26 years, Serrano did something almost no celebrity chef does. He actually showed up 6 days a week, sometimes 7, in the kitchen, cooking, tasting, training his team, not flying in twice a year for a photo op, not putting his name on a menu he's never touched. He was there. Picasso at Bellagio, Lago at Bellagio, Julian Serrano Tapas at Aria. 3 restaurants, 3 decades, 1 chef who never left. Until now, August 2024. Picasso closes. Serrano steps away from Lago. February 2025. Julian Serrano Tapas closes. He's 74 years old, and after 26 years of showing up every single night, he's done. In his final interview, a reporter asked him, if you could open another restaurant anywhere in the world, where would it be? His answer, Las Vegas. For me, that will always be the place. He called it the best city in the world for restaurants, and then he left completely. The chef who made Vegas a food city walked out of the kitchen for the last time. Julian Serrano left on his own terms. Retirement, legacy intact, standing ovation. The next guy on our list, no standing ovation, no graceful exit. His empire isn't retiring, it's collapsing. Number 3, you know this guy. Even if you don't know his name, you know the move. The sunglasses, the slicked back hair, the flexed forearm, salt cascading off his skin like snowflakes in a cologne commercial. January 2017, a Turkish butcher named Nusret Gökçe posts a video on Instagram, 30 seconds of him slicing a steak and sprinkling salt. It gets viewed hundreds of millions of times, and just like that, Salt Bae is born. He takes that 30 seconds of fame and builds an empire. Nusret steakhouses, Istanbul, Dubai, London, Miami, New York, Boston, Dallas, Beverly Hills, and in 2022, Las Vegas. The park, right between New York, and Park MGM. Prime real estate, millions of tourists walking past every day. The menu, Wagyu steaks wrapped in 24-karat gold foil, $1,500. A 70-ounce strip loin, $2,400 for one piece of meat. Leonardo DiCaprio ate here, David Beckham, half the Premier League. For a minute, Salt Bae was everywhere. And then the cracks started showing. Servers at the New York location file a class action lawsuit. They accuse Gökçe of skimming their tips, allegedly taking a cut before distributing to staff. Settlement, $230,000. Another lawsuit claims he misclassified employees to avoid paying overtime. Then 2023, the World Cup final. Argentina wins, and somehow, Salt Bae gets onto the field, grabs the trophy, kisses it, poses with it. FIFA bans him from the US Open Cup. Former employees start talking to reporters. They describe a culture of fear, a godlike complex, and the restaurants, they start falling. New York Burger Joint, closed. Nusret, New York, closed. Boston, closed. Dallas, closed. January 2025. Las Vegas, closed. January 28th, 2025. 3 years, that's all it lasted. Beverly Hills, closed. June 4th, 2025. In 2023, Salt Bae had 7 restaurants in America. Today, 2. Miami and New York, that's it. Here's the thing about Vegas. It's a city built on spectacle, on excess, on doing the most ridiculous thing possible and charging people to watch. Salt Bae should have been perfect for Vegas. Gold-wrapped steaks, a chef who performs like a magician, prices so absurd they become part of the show. But even Vegas has limits. And $2,400 for a steak you're mostly paying for because of a 5-second video from 2017? That limit got found. He built an empire on a meme, and Vegas watched it crumble. Salt Bae's fall was public, loud, impossible to miss. Everyone saw it coming. The next closure on our list, nobody saw it coming because the restaurant told us directly that it wasn't happening. They lied. Number 2, bizarre meat. If you've never been to a Jose Andres restaurant, let me paint you a picture. You walk in and the first thing you see is fire, an open stage, flames licking up from a wood-burning grill, whole animals rotating on spits, chefs moving through smoke like they're performing surgery in a volcano. The food is insane. Cotton candy foie gras. Yes, really. Foie gras spun into cotton candy, melting on your tongue. Tacos filled with caviar and jamon iberico. That's the high-end Spanish ham from pigs that only eat acorns. 10-pound whole suckling pigs you have to order in advance. Wagyu prepared tableside on a hot stone. Jose Andres is one of the most important chefs alive. James Beard Award winner. Michelin stars across multiple restaurants, but more than that, he runs World Central Kitchen. When there's a disaster anywhere on Earth, hurricane, earthquake, war zone, his team shows up and feeds people. He fed millions in Ukraine, in Gaza, after Hurricane Maria. This is not a guy who cuts corners or plays games. Bazaar Meat opened at the Sahara in 2014. For 11 years, it was considered one of the best steakhouses in America. Not just Vegas, America. Business Insider named it the best restaurant in Nevada. Then May 2024, rumors start circulating. Vegas gossip blogs are saying Bazaar Meat is closing. The Sahara and Jose Andres group release a joint statement, and I quote, "There are no plans to close Bazaar Meat by Jose Andres. Sahara Las Vegas and Jose Andres Group enjoy an outstanding and collaborative partnership. No plans to close. Outstanding partnership." 5 months later, October 2024, announcement: Bazaar Meat is leaving the Sahara, moving to the Venetian. Wait, I thought there were no plans to close. It gets better. First they say it's closing sometime in 2025, then they say June 30th. Then they change it to July 31st. The Vegas gossip blog Vital Vegas had been reporting the closure for months, while the restaurant was publicly denying it. And here's a fun detail: the owner of the Sahara once sued Vital Vegas over their reporting, claimed it was damaging his business. The case got thrown out multiple times. The blog won, and then, months later, everything the blog reported turned out to be true. July 31st, 2025. Bazaar Meat serves its last meal at the Sahara. 11 years. Done. Now look, the restaurant is reopening at the Venetian. This isn't a death, it's a relocation. But here's what sticks with me. There are no plans to close. They looked customers in the eye, people who were planning trips, making reservations, celebrating anniversaries, and they said, "Don't worry, we're not going anywhere." 5 months later, they were gone. When a restaurant as respected as Bazaar Meat, run by a chef as principled as Jose Andre, can't be straight with you about whether they're closing, something is broken in Vegas. Salt Bae's empire collapsed in public. Bazaar Meat lied about it in private. But our number one, no lies, no scandal, no corporate games, just 26 years of excellence coming to an end, and it broke people's hearts. Number one, you know these fountains, even if you've never been to Vegas, even if you've only seen them in movies or commercials or someone's Instagram. Water rising and falling in the desert, synchronized to Sinatra, to Bocelli, to Celine Dion. 8 acres of man-made lake in a city that shouldn't exist. And right there, overlooking those fountains, through floor-to-ceiling windows that made every table feel like a front-row seat to magic. Picasso, not a restaurant named after the artist, a restaurant filled with actual Picassos, original paintings, ceramics, sculptures, $100 million of art hanging on the walls while you ate. This wasn't a gimmick. This was Steve Wynn saying, "Vegas can be more." October 1998, Bellagio opens. It costs $1.6 billion. At the time, it's the most expensive hotel ever built. And Wynn doesn't just want slot machines and buffets. He wants to prove that Vegas can be a world-class destination, that high rollers will pay for culture, for art, for food that belongs in Paris or New York. So he recruits a chef from San Francisco, Julian Serrano, already a legend, 2 James Beard Awards, the kind of chef who made critics in California weep. Wynn tells him, "Come to Vegas, open something special." Serrano has one condition: he has to actually be there, not like other celebrity chefs who fly in twice a year, shake some hands, and collect a check. Serrano wanted to cook every night in that kitchen for as long as the restaurant existed. Steve Wynn agreed. For 26 years, that's exactly what happened. 6 days a week, sometimes 7. Julian Serrano was in that kitchen, tasting sauces, training cooks, plating dishes with his own hands. The warm quail salad with sauteed artichokes, the pan-seared scallops with potato mousseline, the poached oysters with caviar. The same dishes for 25 years, because every time they tried to take them off the menu, customers demanded them back. Picasso became the first Las Vegas restaurant nominated for a James Beard Award for Best New Restaurant, one of the first 2 Nevada restaurants to receive the Forbes 5-star award, 2 Michelin stars. And here's what matters most: Picasso proved it could work. Before Serrano, Vegas fine dining meant a steakhouse in a basement, maybe some shrimp cocktail if you were lucky. After Picasso, Wolfgang Puck opened Spago at Caesars. Emeril Lagasse came to MGM Grand. Thomas Keller, Gordon Ramsay, Jose Andres, Guy Fieri. Every celebrity chef in America looked at Vegas and thought, "I need to be there," because Julian Serrano got there first. August 2024. Serrano is 74 years old, and after 26 years of showing up every single night, he announces his retirement. Picasso will close. The moment the news breaks, the phones start ringing. Every reservation gone. For 3 months straight, Picasso was fully booked. 180 seats every single night. Customers flew in from Europe, from Asia, people who had never eaten there but realized they were running out of time. Former employees came back, family members. On the last night, the kitchen served oysters and quail, the dishes that had been on the menu since day one, and grown chefs cried. In his final interview, someone asked Serrano, if you could open another restaurant anywhere in the world, where would it be? He said, Las Vegas. For me, that will always be the place. 26 years. The fountains outside. $100 million of art inside. A chef who showed up every single night. Gone. Not because it failed. Not because of scandal or debt or bad reviews. Because Vegas decided it was time for something new. The restaurant that proved Vegas could be world class served its last meal. And the fountains kept dancing like nothing happened. 10 restaurants, 10 closures. But this isn't just about 10 restaurants. Las Vegas visitors are down 6.5% in 2025. Hotel occupancy dropped from 88% to 85%. International visitors down as much as 60% from some countries. Meanwhile, restaurant costs are up 25 to 30%. A case of eggs that cost $18 3 years ago, now it's $44. Clarified butter went from $66 to $117. 70 buffets in 2020. 8 left on the strip today. The middle is disappearing. The cheap buffets are gone. The quirky neighborhood spots are gone. What's left? Celebrity chef restaurants being replaced by other celebrity chef restaurants. One local owner put it this way: it's been challenging with inflation, additional fees, licensing requirements, in addition to what people are willing to spend. Vegas isn't dying. 40 million people still visit every year, but the Vegas your parents remember? The cheap buffets, the hidden gems, the restaurants that felt like discoveries. That Vegas is closing, one kitchen at a time, 10 restaurants, decades of memories, hundreds of employees, millions of meals, all of it gone. So here's what I want to leave you with. If there's a Vegas restaurant you love, a place where you celebrated a birthday or got engaged or just had a really good meal with people you care about, don't wait, because Carlos and Charlie's customers thought they had more time. Picasso regulars thought 26 years meant forever. The house always wins in Vegas, that's the rule, but now you know something else. The house doesn't care what it loses along the way. If this video made you feel something, hit subscribe. Drop a comment and tell me, what Vegas restaurant would you be devastated to lose? Because the next one might already be counting down.